Welcome back. We are going to talk a little bit about some scenarios and common crashes, why they happen, and what you can do as a friendly driver to avoid them. What we see here is an example of what's called a squeeze by. So if the person driving is impatient and wants to pass the person on the bike before there is enough space in the other lane, they may come by really closely. But this can smush that person that's on the bike and really ruin their day in more ways than we want to imagine. Or maybe it's good to imagine. Not really ever worth it. The responsible thing to do, the friendly driver thing to do, is to stay back until there's enough space to pass. So you would wait until the person driving in the opposite lane clears the lane, is passed by, and then you would cross the yellow line, use the opposite lane to give enough space, and then you could re-enter after you've cleared the person on the bike. If it is 35 miles per hour or more, you're going to give that appropriate fall space, which is gauged by the height of the person on the bike. If they were to tip over, if it is less than 35 miles per hour, as much space as you possibly can give them, 3 feet is the minimum. This is an example of a really common crash called a right hook. What you're looking at is the person driving is taking a right-hand turn and not noticing there's a person on the bike that's actually going to go straight. So where the crashes end up happening is a little T-bone right there. As a friendly driver, you're always going to wait and make sure there's no people on bikes in that bike lane if you're going to be taking a right-hand turn. Similarly, this example is called a left cross. You can see the person driving in this truck here is making a left-hand turn while there is a person on a bike entering the intersection going straight. This results in a crash right there and can be easily avoided if the person driving notices and pays attention to these bike lanes and waits for the person on the bike to make it through the intersection and other cars and then takes that left-hand turn. The wrong way left cross. So taking us back to that image we connected with in the very beginning of this presentation, where we had a person on a bike going the wrong direction. So a person driving, specifically, we'll talk about this white car, this person driving this white car, may be just looking at the lane that's across, it's adjacent, and not looking at the one where there would be someone coming the wrong way. But this commonly does happen where people on bikes don't know the rules. And this is where I'll highlight that you as a person driving have gone through driver's training. And you've been really set with this, you've been really taught what you are allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. Unfortunately, people that ride bikes are not required to get a license to ride a bike, even though there's a lot of programs out there that teach great bike safety and skills to children. It's hard to hit everyone. We don't have our program in every school. We'd love to, but it's not mainstream, and everyone doesn't have it yet. So sometimes people on bikes don't know that they're not supposed to go the wrong way. They may be in the wrong in this incident, but that still doesn't change the fact that if you as the person driving hits that person on the bike and changes the way they live their life from that day forward, it's not worth it. It's not worth the lesson. It's not worth the blame. It's way worth it to avoid it. So as a friendly driver, always looking in bike lanes and anticipating possibly what might be happening. Leaving a bike lane. So a very common thing that happens as a person on a bike, there could be something in the bike lane. In this graphic, what you see is a recycle bin. There's all kinds of things that can kind of make a person on a bike really want to leave. Common thing, a cable, a rope that looks like a snake laying in the bike lane, and the person on the bike's like, not today, not going to run over a snake, and may quickly enter into the main lane of traffic. Ideally not quickly, but sometimes it happens quicker than it should. So as a friendly driver, what your responsibility is to pay attention to your shoulder, and if there are things in the bike lane, you're anticipating that person on the bike may need to enter your lane and slowing down a little bit to let all of that play out so that you don't smash them. Impaired driving. There's There's so many places where a crash can happen, so don't do it. Your judgment is off, your speed will be off. It's hard for a person on a bike to know what to anticipate if there's impaired driving, and you can very easily crash and kill yourself and kill others that might be using the road. Same thing, distracted driving is similar, not paying attention, and say for this example, when there's a person on a bike, may have to take the lane for something, maybe a turn to the left, maybe there's something that's obstructing the bike lane, and you're not paying attention because you're texting your mom that you're going to be late for dinner, or you're texting your wife that you need to pick something up at the grocery store. All not important, and ultimately just taking a slow down moment and letting that texting happen at a different time when you're not in your car is going to save lives. So distracted driving, don't do that either. Speeding, when you speed, it cuts down your ability to react, your time to react. Therefore, if a bike takes a lane and you're going faster than the speed limit and faster than that person on the bike can anticipate because you're not following that speed limit, you're likely to have a crash from that action. What we say here is that there are people out there that are much smarter than myself that have designed these speeds for your safety. If you follow them, you will be more safe, and you absolutely will qualify as a friendly driver if you are following those speed limits. Just to put it in the context of in light of some numbers in relationship to speed, when a person is hit by a person driving at 20 miles per hour, the likelihood of that person that is hit to die is 10%. If we go up just 10 miles per hour, the likelihood from that crash resulting in hitting a vulnerable user, the chances of them to die is 40%. When you go up to 40 miles per hour, the chances of death resulting from a crash is at 80%. And again, to use that same point about the implications of this is when you're a person driving and you crash into a vulnerable user, or there's a crash related with you between you and a vulnerable user, you will change the way that person lives their life. That brother, that sister, that best friend, that mother, that uncle, it's a real person, and it's never worth it. And therefore, if you can take anything from the material that you have learned in this program, it's to slow down. Give yourself enough time to react. Allow yourself the ability to really see your surroundings, and allow yourself the time to see the other users that you are sharing that roadway network with. Thank you for learning during this Oregon Friendly Driver program, and I look forward to seeing you safely out on the road.